Today we're visiting with Delia Colorado, president of the Rotary Club of San Juan. This is the Puerto Rico Business Broadcast.
Live from San Juan, Puerto Rico, this is the Puerto Rico Business Broadcast. Now, here's your host, Daven Michaels.
Welcome to the broadcast. Today we're going to be talking about a organization that is near and dear to my heart, and that is Rotary Club. We have Delia Colorado, the current president of the Rotary Club San Juan. Thanks for being here, Delia.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. It's great to have you.
Well, it is great that you have made your transfer from your Texas club
That's right. That's
to
right.
our San Juan club.
That's right. So
I have to make a note that our San Juan club is the only one that everything is carried on in English. So
yes,
it's
right.
good for a benefit for those that come from the continent that don't know too much
That
Spanish.
need to learn Spanish like me.
So they can join us and they learn a little bit.
I've been here nearly 6 years. I should speak better Spanish. I know. But yes, I was a Rotary Club member in Texas. It was my friend Howard Berg that got me into it. Howard is the president of the Texas branch that I was in. Howard Berg, I think I told you this, is the fastest reader in the world. He reads 2,000 pages in an hour.
I can't believe
It's unbelievable. And he retains it too. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine how much you could absorb and read and learn? He's terrific. And he teaches people how to do that, which is really great. So, Delia, tell us your Puerto Rico story.
Well, I was born in San Germán, which is in the south of Puerto Rico, and then I lived in Sabana Grande all my life, but I studied in San Germán because the good Catholic school was in San Germán, and my parents sent me to that.
All right.
But I started in the public school of Puerto Rico until my 6th grade, and then I transferred to the Catholic school, where everything was in English.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem I had was that in the public school, they had not taught me English.
No English at all, or a little bit?
Well, what's your name? Where do you live? But those things only.
Yeah.
So when I got to 7th grade, I had to speed it up and learn English fast. That was...
But at least
that was difficult. But
at a young age, you're more of a sponge, so you were probably able to pick it up.
So.
Yeah.
So I did, and I had good grades that year, so that was a point in my favor.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I went to the Pontificia Universidad Católica in Ponce to study, and I studied business. And I was very much interested in the business things. I belong to the BBA club and everything, and we used to visit companies and manufacturing companies and such. Then later on, I decided I didn't want to stay in Ponce for 3 more years, so I came to the University of Puerto Rico to study law, and that is where I met my husband, Tito Colorado. The first time I saw him, I said, that's the guy.
Really? You really knew it?
Yes,
wow.
I did. So anyway,
now, by the way, Tito happens to be here in the studio. Tito, did you do the same thing? He says, absolutely. He said, yes, for sure. So really, so you saw this handsome man and you're like,
and you know what? It's been 58 years.
58 years. And you guys are great. I mean, you have a great relationship.
Yeah.
How many kids?
3. And 5 grandchildren.
That's incredible.
And then after, when we finished law, Tito was offered a scholarship from the Economic Development Department here in Puerto Rico, and we went to Harvard because he was going to study all the tax laws so that he could come back and help Puerto Rico with the tax law.
And that's just another example of an incentive. Does it kind of work like they paid for Tito to go to Harvard, but then he had to come back and do a certain amount of time?
Yes, he did. He had to come back and work for them. Yes,
which is great. Right. That's great.
Yeah,
it's a win-win.
Yeah, the government should do that many times. They should do that with the doctors now. That many of them are leaving the island.
Right.
Maybe they could do that because they do give scholarships and help to the guys that study medicine. So anyway, I applied to Harvard and I said, my husband has a scholarship, would you accept it? So I had good grades, so they accepted me. So we both went. And the thing was that we graduated, but we came back with 3 diplomas. His and mine, and a little girl 1 month old when we came back.
Okay. Wow.
So,
Did you guys enjoy going to school in Boston?
oh, yes.
Was it a great time?
Something very different for me. I have
Yeah.
never lived in the States. And Boston is very cold, so yes,
In the winter.
to live there, that was different, but it was very nice.
It's a cool city.
Yeah, that's right. So when we came back, I decided to stay home, although I was offered a job that was almost the same salary as Tito's, but I decided to stay home taking care of the
Raise the kids.
babies and not, employ somebody to come and take care of them, and then you have so many expenses that it really doesn't make up for what you
Right.
for what you give up. So I stayed home for many years, several years. Then, but I started as a notary public immediately, because in Puerto Rico, when you become an attorney, you can be a litigating attorney, but you can also be a notary public. And
Yeah, so
here,
why not?
it's not like in the States where a notary public can be anybody.
Right.
No, you have to be an attorney.
Right.
And this, we are the ones that do the deeds and the contracts and everything for real estate and anything.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty lucrative.
Well, yes,
It
is.
is.
It is, yeah.
Because like a property transfer, what is about $4,000 in?
Well, the property transfer depends on the price of the property.
Okay.
If you buy a property for $100,000, it's not the same as a $1 million.
Okay, got it.
The rates go up. So, yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
So I was a notary for many, many years. And then 22 years ago, I was offered the post of registrar of the property, which is the ones on the other side. They are the ones that analyze those deeds that the notaries make, and they register them in the books of the registry.
Right.
So then I was there for 22 years, and I just retired like 2 months ago.
That's right. That's right. And you enjoyed it over there, didn't you?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that has been my life. I love that kind of work. Yes.
And let's talk a little bit about that work. So, I mean, I would presume that when you came on board decades ago, how were they recording all that? Was it paper? Was it
It was
computers?
in these big books. In my section, which was the first section of San Juan, it was the oldest, because the first books were from 1880, 90s. So we had very, very old books.
Yeah.
And these are huge books, and we still have them. Everything was recorded by hand, and it was so different.
And was there a backup of that? Like, what if the building burned down?
Yeah, thank God, no building
Because there was
burned
really
down
that.
ever.
Because
No,
that
no.
was the record.
No,
That
I was director of the registry 2 times, and my worry was, oh God, that nothing burns while I'm director, because if that
then
burns,
been gone.
the information is nowhere else to be found.
Wow.
So now, no, because now we created, before the last time I was director, we created a program that we can see everything in the computer. We have everything digitalized, and you can work from your home with the registry. You don't have
Right.
to go there anymore.
Right.
And the registrar can do that too. So now it's much better. Well, it's modern. It used to be like what it used to be at the time, just writing down in the big books, and that was it.
Right. Now I know during Hurricane, or after post Hurricane Maria, people were trying to get their FEMA funds to cover their losses, and I know for a lot of people, they weren't able to get. Not a lot of people. Well, yeah, a decent amount of people. Yeah, a lot of people were not able to get FEMA relief funds because they couldn't prove a clear deed. And that really came from the Spanish, right? Because the Spanish didn't kind of have clear deeding.
No, the thing is that we have our registry system from the Spanish laws, but it's not obligatory. When you buy your house, you're not obliged to go there and register it. You can keep your deed at home, and you don't have to go there, so nobody knows that property has changed to your name.
But now you're
No, it's
you're
not.
still not. It's
Still
in the
is-
law. It is not an obligation.
No,
You don't
it is
have
not
to
an
record
obligation.
it.
You don't have to record it.
see.
So.
So generations.
Well, you know how it is in the
didn't.
country. This father has 4 children, and he has a big lot, so he divides it in 4 and gives each a piece and everything. And they don't even bother to go to the notary and say, draft me the deed, please,
Right.
and put it in my son's name. They don't do that. Here in Puerto Rico, we are like that. Well, tomorrow, maybe we'll do it tomorrow. Yeah. And then they never do it. And when FEMA came, we had the problem in the registry because lots of people came and they wanted their title, but they never came to the registry to register anything. So nothing was recorded. They didn't have any title. So it was not our fault.
Right.
And in some sense, it was not their fault either because maybe they had not been educated in the sense that if you don't record it, it's not going to be there in your name. It was in maybe their grandfather's name, probably. Right. But then they had to do all the papers that will come down to them, and that's difficult because you have to do so many things. But then that was the problem. But then there were many notaries that helped those people to do all the process that was necessary to get all the papers and everything so that they could record it in their names. So many titles were recorded because of the help of the notaries in Puerto Rico. They did a very good job.
Wow. Well, let's talk more about that. We'll do that in just a moment. We'll be right back in just a moment with Delia Colorado. Don't go away. I'd like to share a very cool opportunity with you. Now, do keep in mind this isn't investment advice. You should always consult a professional before investing. I want to tell you about Mondax Group. Mondax provides alternative asset management and retirement solutions. Mondax takes a very patient and rigorous approach to investing, and their mission is to deliver predictable cash flows to their clients backed by strong, high-growth businesses that they invest in. Their private offering, the Axel Fund, is for reserved accredited investors only and pays out a whopping 16% dividend distributed monthly. The fund's underlying assets are independent trucking businesses contracted across the U.S. with a Fortune 50 company. So if you're interested in learning how you, as an accredited investor, can earn 16% potentially tax-free, give Jason Schur a call at 609-937-8064. He'd love to schedule a complimentary face-to-face lunch to show you all the details. For more info, you can visit mondaxgroup.com/Axel-Fund. Just a short interruption to let you know it's time to book your ticket for the San Juan Social Club Cruise. This annual cruise is a one-of-a-kind vacation specially curated for residents of Puerto Rico and people that are interested in Puerto Rico. It's for people looking to network, make friends, and learn about all the resources and opportunities Puerto Rico has to offer. I promise you, this week-long voyage is truly an unforgettable experience. Last year, we had 238 high-level founder entrepreneur cruisers. We have over 400 booked for the next one. The cruise includes world-class speakers, mastermind sessions, deal-making, off-boat adventures, themed parties, and more. Over 100 million in deals were done between our cruisers, friendships made, tens of thousands of dollars raised for impact projects on the island, and fun. For a limited time, it's just a few $100s to lock in your reservation that comes with a whopping onboard credit. To get all the details and join us for the next San Juan Social Club Cruise, go to sanjuansocialcruise.com. That's sanjuansocialcruise.com. Welcome back. We're with Delia Colorado, the president of the Rotary Club of San Juan, and we're talking about all kinds of things. Actually, we will get on Rotary Club in a minute for sure, but I want to continue where we left off. Mm-hmm. So, post Maria, when people were trying to get their FEMA funds that they needed, many people didn't have clear deeds and what have you. You guys must have been incredibly busy.
Oh, we were, and we were so sad for all the people that came, and we had to say, no, we cannot help you, because their deeds were not recorded. As a matter of fact, the Rotaries did a good job too in that time after the hurricane. For example, our San Juan Rotary Club got about $1.5 million to help all the people for hurricane relief They
People that
did many
couldn't prove a
projects.
deed?
Yeah, well, they
Or
did
just in
many
general?
projects, different kinds of projects, and they obtained grants from the Rotary Foundation so that we could help those people that needed helping. They lived in the country, they had so many problems with their properties, with water, with their education of their children, in many places that we could help them with the Rotary grants.
That's great. So I want to talk all about Rotary, and we're going to do that in just a moment. But before we do, one thing that you had said is you were telling us in an earlier segment about how up until sixth grade you were in public school.
Yes.
And then you went into a private Catholic school. So you've seen both sides of,
Oh, yes.
of education in Puerto Rico. And I know that Puerto Rico has some of the worst education. Is that true? In public schools? Rico?
It didn't used to be like that.
Right.
My father and my mother spoke, and they spoke with a very heavy accent, but they wrote perfectly in English because they had been taught by such good teachers
In public school?
in public school.
Okay.
Nowadays, in the last maybe 20 or 30 years, they haven't given the importance to being a teacher as they should, and they don't pay them so well, and then everybody, well, I don't want to be a teacher, my pay is going to be so low.
Right.
So people do other things. But we need to pay the teachers better so that we have better teachers.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's the worst education, but we could have it much better if we really put our minds to it. There's one program that's called the Montessori program. Last year we gave an award to the lady that directs it, and she created the program because it really brings good teachers, and they really take their children, along as they develop. And it's not just for 60 children, and then if you are brilliant, you can do it, and the other, they have F. No, that's not the problem. We have to pay the teachers well, and then we will have a better education, I think.
Yeah. I also think that that they need more English in public school.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things, we had your husband on the show, and we talked about the amount of people not working. And there are some crutches that keep people from working. One is public assistance, right? If they start making too much money, then they lose their housing, and that's an issue. And I think another issue is English, because if you can't speak English, your potential is limited. Right, there's a ceiling that you can't get through. If you speak English, you could come into San Juan and work in the service industry. There's so many options, and English is, I think, that catalyst, globally.
Well, we could have more English teachers. Here in Puerto Rico, we say, tengo que hablar el difícil. I have to talk in the difficult language.
Right.
We call it difícil because many people are so afraid of speaking English because really they have not been taught. But on the other hand, there are many other people that have lived in the States that go to visit their families, and I find that some of the children and the teenagers and everything, they know a lot of English because of that. Now we also have a lot of channels in English in the TV, and that also helps a lot because they see their movies and everything in English. So that helps. Yeah. So there are the two extremes. Some of the old people, maybe they don't speak that much English.
Right.
But the new generation is starting
a lot.
To speak English.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's great. Okay, so let's talk about Rotary Club. So Rotary Club is an amazing organization that I'm very proud to be a part of as well. And first of all, how many members, or how many chapters are there, and how many members are there globally?
Well, globally, I don't remember. It's almost like 2 million.
Wow.
And I don't remember how many around the world. But I can tell you, in Puerto Rico, we have like 37 clubs.
Chapters here. Wow.
In the metropolitan area, we have the San Juan Club, the Santurce Club, the Rio Piedras Club. And then we also have Guaynabo and Carolina, which are so very close. So in the metropolitan area only, we have 5 clubs.
Now, is San Juan the only one that does their programming in English?
Our club is the only program.
Even so, like Santurce, Spanish? Like if you go to the Santurce chapter, it's Spanish?
Everything is in Spanish.
Everything is in Spanish, wow.
Well, in Santurce now they have the president this year is George Shapiro, who was born in Germany, and his parents his father was American, I think. So they spoke English at home, but he knows good Spanish. But sometimes he goes into the English, so they speak a little bit of English. But no, our club is the only one that carries everything in English.
Okay.
And the speakers that we get every week
English.
are English.
And I've had the honor
You
of speaking.
were one of our speakers, and
was
of
fun.
course you gave your speech in English.
Yeah, that
it's
was
very good.
That was great. That was great. And the speakers that I've had a chance to come see at your club have been great. We were talking earlier about Adam Greenfader. He was phenomenal. Yeah, I just read his book. It was awesome.
Right.
So, and if you're a member of a chapter, can you go to other chapter meetings if you want?
Oh, yeah, you can.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we have been to other places. We have been in California, to where our daughter lives. We have tried in Spain, and we have tried in the Dominican Republic. We've been also. So you can visit any other place that you go. You say, I'm a Rotarian, you just go to the meeting. And
That's great.
it's so lovely to go to other places and have somebody, you know that they are good people, that
Right,
they
you have
share
something in
your
common with them.
interests,
Yeah.
and everything. It's so
fun.
wonderful.
That's
I
neat.
think that's very nice.
It's kind of a fraternity sorority, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And also membership is very inexpensive. What is it? A couple $100 a year?
Yeah,
A few
well,
hundred?
I think about, I don't know, about $300 a year, something like that. Well, it depends on the club. Every
Okay.
club has its own fees, so you would have to ask.
And there's e-clubs also.
There in Puerto Rico, we have one e-club.
Do
Yes.
you? Okay.
Yeah.
I was actually a member of an e-club in Texas.
You were?
Well, I think it was both. It was physical and e. And I think if you hear me talking about an e-club, you obviously probably know what I'm talking about. But essentially, it's a virtual club. It's since COVID and what have you, a lot of people just want to
That's
stay
right.
home. And
That's
be
what
virtual.
happened to them. They wanted to get together and they couldn't, and they were from different places. So
Is that how they were created? It was during
that's
COVID.
how they were created.
Yeah, COVID sort of fast forwarded a lot of technology
That's
about
right.
5 years.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So let's talk about that. So membership is inexpensive, and the Rotary Club was really founded as it's an impact club, making a difference globally,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And let's first talk about the dues, because I can't remember all the details, but it's pretty interesting and cool what they do with the dues. It's like
Well,
that's-
part of what we pay goes to the Rotary Foundation. This is an organization that has millions of dollars, and I don't remember how many, but they give back to the clubs. Every 3 years, we receive what we gave the last 3 years, and we can give it out in grants. You come with a need. You say, I have this need in my school or my organization, or a hurricane problem or a health problem for a community that doesn't have good water, or we have a program to eradicate the mosquitoes in Culebra. We have paid for that, the San Juan Club, and it has cost more than $200,000. And it's a very good program. So we have programs all over. So we can have that we can ask for that money, and the foundation gives it back to us so that we can do our community projects. Rotary is a service club to give back to the community.
Right. So let's talk about that, because it's really interesting. So what happens is, let's say whatever I pay, $200-300.
Okay.
And actually, you know what? Let's hold that for 1 sec. We have to take a quick break. We'll come back and then we'll unpack all of that. So
Okay.
we'll be right back in just a moment with Delia Colorado. Don't go away. I want to take a quick minute to tell you about an organization that's very near and dear to my heart because I started it. The San Juan Social Club is at its core a community of extraordinary people getting together for food, fun, networking, and philanthropy. What started out a few years ago as a small gathering of friends has blossomed into thousands of entrepreneurs, business owners, movers, shakers, and change makers here in Puerto Rico. We hold monthly free social, learning, and community service events. We run an annual networking cruise, which is truly an unforgettable experience. Plus, we just started securing member exclusives on things like discounts for professional services, restaurants, and service businesses on the island and beyond. If you spend any time at all in Puerto Rico, we'd love to see you at our next event. Visit sanjuansocialclub.org to get on the invite list. Again, that's sanjuansocialclub.org. Hope to see you at our next event. If you're looking for an event space, a wedding venue, or a gorgeous getaway, let me introduce you to the Aqua Marina Beach Club, a no-kids beach club oasis in Rincon. This gorgeous property includes a boutique hotel with 15 beautiful guest rooms, rooftop lounge, 360 view, swim-up pool bar, event spaces, coffee shop and gelateria, and a stellar restaurant. All just a few steps from the beach. I love this place. I've thrown parties and networking mixers at their pool bar, great cocktails, beautiful ambiance. I've booked rooms in the hotel for several relaxing staycations. To learn more, you can visit aquamarinabeachclub.com or call 787-823-2593 to book a stay. And don't forget to mention the broadcast to grab an exclusive 20% discount. Aqua Marina Beach Club in Rincon. And we're back with Delia Colorado, the president of the San Juan Rotary Club, the only club of the 37 in Puerto Rico that is in English. So if Spanish impaired like I am, I'm going to get better, I promise. Then you can be in this club. So anyways, so the dues, which is pretty inexpensive, when somebody pays their dues, all of that goes to...
Not all of that, but part of it,
Okay.
because some of that goes for our administrative expenses.
Do you happen to know, is it like 10, 20% that goes to you guys?
I don't remember.
Okay, but it's a smaller...
it's part of
so
it.
let's say,
Yeah.
I'm going to guess, let's say 80% goes to corporate, and let's say 20, or global, whatever you want to call it. It's really a nonprofit, right?
Yeah.
And let's say 20% goes to the local chapter to help cover your administrative
That's
costs. And then on the global level or corporate level, they take that money and they invest it, right? Isn't that what
Oh,
happens?
yes.
What kind of investment do they do?
Well, they invest. The clubs ask for the grants, and then they give back the money to the club so that the club can pay for those grants. We have also many different kinds. Rotary was the one that eradicated almost 100% of the polio in the world.
Really? So
that
this was
Rotary
50 years ago.
Foundation.
50,
No, but
60
they are still working on
Uh-huh.
that, because remember last year there
It
was
spiked.
a case
Came back up,
in
yeah.
New York and a little bit in Africa.
Right.
So they immediately went there again, and they are again fighting that.
That's good.
And they have also helped with, remember ¿cómo se llamaba? The diabola. What was that sickness in that? There was a very years ago in Africa.
Oh, yeah, Ebola.
The Ebola.
Ebola, yeah.
They help with that to eradicate it, thanks to the work that
Wow.
the Rotaries did. It was contained in the places where it started, and it didn't spread around the world. So they have done that with many, many kinds of sicknesses, because now they have the experience of having worked to eradicate polio. That was their most important thing that the foundation does. But then the rest of the money, since they have so much, every chapter can, every year we have these grants that we need because we are going to do this work, and then they have all kinds of to file documents and everything, and people come to be able to see that the money was correctly spent.
Sure.
And everything. So that is so very interesting. Yeah.
So, but if I recall, when you send the money to, I keep calling it corporate, but let's call it corporate, don't they, I think they actually invest the money so that then they have more profits to be donated.
Well,
don't they?
that's what usually is done with the money donated to all organizations, I think, and they are not an exception. Every money that is given by us members, they invest it, they have it invested, and
Right.
then with the revenues, then they do so many
That
things.
was it, yeah.
Because they cannot spend their
Right.
core money, because
Right. That's
then
great.
they will be left with
Right.
with nothing. They spend what the revenues and everything.
So it lives
that
on
is
forever.
very important.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's huge.
that's right.
So, okay, so then the money that you guys send them, is it all returned to you, or no? It's just based on the grants?
It depends on the grants that we want.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So now that's gone there. So you are either approached by different organizations on the island that want help, or you guys see a need.
Yes,
right?
that's right.
And then how is it decided how much you want to give and to what organizations and what causes? How is that all decided?
Well, we have an expert in the foundation who is Georgie what's her last name? I forgot right now. But then Georgie is the one in our club. Now that you're belonging to the club,
Okay,
you I
Georgie.
think maybe you have met Georgie.
think
or if
so.
not, you'll meet her, and she's the expert in that. When people come with projects, like this year, we are sponsoring one in Castañer, which is in Adjuntas. It's a school that has so many problems, and it hasn't been able to give the classes to the children they meet outside.
Wow.
So we are doing that. We have already sent the papers, and it's been working on, and that's for helping that school, especially in Castañer. There have been so many others. I don't really remember them, but there's one that's called Para la Naturaleza, which is for nature, which is a very important project for small farmers. Like young people today, they want to become farmers, and they don't have the money, the education, or anything, and this organization comes and helps them. So we ask for a grant for that, and they are doing a great job, and so many others. I don't remember them by memory, but they are very good examples.
So typically the grants, can they vary and from like 20 grand to hundreds of thousands of dollars? Like how much money do you guys put towards different projects?
Well, it depends on the grant. It may be, I don't remember if it has a top, but I know that we have done grants. Well, as I told you, for the hurricane relief, there were several grants that amounted to $1.5 million. And then after that, for the last 3 years and up to this year, there have been grants for about 900,000 or so
this year.
For this year. Yeah, they will be probably finished this year. So there are different grants of different types.
And just out of curiosity, roughly for that 900,000, roughly you can estimate like how many different projects is that being allocated out to?
About, I think it's like 4 or 5.
Okay, 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
And so
it's in health, education, for mothers, for nature, for sustainability, for the environment. So many things that can fall into that, that people can ask grants when they need it.
That's neat. So I want to kind of break down that process a bit. So let's say somebody is they need funds to help out a school. Let's say. Okay. So then do they approach your club? They come to
yes,
your
they
club?
could come to our club and say we need money for that, or that's the best, so that the community expresses their need.
Okay.
But then Rotaries outside, they see the need of some organizations, of some people, and then they come to the club and they say, I think we should do this project, and then we present the project, we start working on it.
So-
And then there are also, besides the foundation money, the grants, there are also district grants, which is, our district in Puerto Rico is District 7000. And there are also funds that the district controls, and we every year they give out some of that for other projects, not as big as the grants from the foundation.
Okay.
But with limited budget, but they give grants. And then in our club, we do little projects depending
help the
on what
community.
we are able to raise the money from the members.
Yeah. So
So Rotary works in different
has a lot of levels, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the grants,
layers.
with the big grants,
Yeah.
then the district grants, and then our
the personal.
club grants.
Got it.
Yes.
I understand. And so, in a way, I suppose, so then you may have a group that has a need, and essentially you have several chapters coming together to help.
Oh yes, we
And that's
can
the
we can
district.
do that too. Yes,
Wow.
of course.
That's very interesting.
Definitely, yeah.
And let's say somebody approaches Rotary, they have a need, then somebody like Georgie might put together the request. And
Yeah,
what
the
have you.
paperwork and everything. Yes.
And then how long does it take for that to get reviewed, and then how long does it actually take to get funds?
I cannot give you a specific, because it depends on the project. If it's a very simple project, maybe it can be accepted quickly. If it's a very complicated project and they request many things, because they are very strict, they request many things from us.
Sure.
So it all depends on, the time depends on that.
Okay.
Yes.
And then funds are then, let's say, allocated and used. And then I presume there's a whole system in place to measure and kind of audit those outcomes.
Yes, they
How's
send
that
people
work?
from the states that are in a special group in the Rotary clubs to come and audit in the different parts of the world where the projects are going. Yes.
That's great.
Yes. This year, I don't want to forget, our club does several little projects in comparison with the grants, but we sponsor a Boys and Girls Club Thanksgiving lunch every year,
Oh,
and the
fantastic.
club has done that for 35 years, where we give this opportunity to the children to come to a hotel and they have a Thanksgiving dinner. They are, children from poor families. They have never had those experiences, and I think they look up to that. We also help. Now we are starting with a project to help read English to the small children. Our members go and they read in English, and then somebody comes in and translates it to them. So we help in many ways. We also have last year we started with a very big project that is a Pro Paz, which is for peace, which started in our club. Jorge Gonzalez was the one that really was very interested in that. And it is to try to resolve differences without violence. Because in Puerto Rico and in the States, everything has become so violent. And we are trying to take out the message that you can solve your differences without being so violent. So the district, when they saw our project, they liked it so much that they said that they wanted to do it with us. So we are starting this project from scratch to create an impact club, a different club which will be sponsored by ours, but it's a different impact club for the people that would like to work for peace, Pro Paz. So that's an interesting project that is going on this year for the district.
That's
Started
really
with
awesome.
us at our club. So that's a nice one, I think.
That's fantastic.
You would like that. Next time you go, we'll explain that to you.
Yeah, I think I would like that. That'd be great. So, in addition to that, I know once a month, at least the San Juan chapter has a little, get together for drinks and food.
Yeah,
which
the
is great.
second Tuesday
Social.
we go out for drinks to a different restaurant or something like that.
Which
yeah.
is great, which is
we
great.
meet socially because everything cannot be work.
Right.
Although with us it's everything so professional, and we really try to make a difference and create a better world and create hope.
Yeah.
Like the president, there was, somebody told us that the new president of Rotary, he was at some place where a very poor lady, she had a conch, and he talked to them and everything, and then the lady gave it to him, and he said, "Why are you giving me this?" And she said, "It's because you create hope. And that's what we need." They were so poor, and they had been stricken by these hurricanes and things like that. But when she heard him speak, she had some hope, and that's so very important.
It is.
So we try to do that too, to create hope in the world.
That's neat. So I want to spotlight some of the events you guys do. So you do that on a monthly basis. In addition to that, you have like special evenings. Is that like once a month, or is it every
Once
couple
a
months?
month for now. It's the second Tuesday.
Second Tuesday
Yeah.
is the evening.
The rest we meet at lunch,
At lunch.
on Tuesdays.
Every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday at AFDA.
Okay. And what's
At the AFDA Club, which is
the
in
beautiful,
Condado.
beautiful location.
Condado,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so that's every Tuesday lunchtime?
Yes, lunch.
Is it a lunch?
It is a lunch.
It's a lunch.
yeah.
And what's the purpose of that lunch? Like,
We always bring a speaker with a different topic
Right.
for our benefit, so that we can educate ourselves
Yeah.
of what's happening in the community. So many programs, so many people have so many good messages to bring. So we have, every week we have a different speaker.
That's great. I think there's so much value.
You were one of our
Yes, I was
speakers,
one of your
but we
speakers.
had you in the evening
In the
because we
evening.
wanted more people to come
Yeah.
and enjoy it, and it was much easier to do it in the evening.
Yeah, it was a great turnout. That was awesome, and I think it's such a great organization on so many levels. The education is world class. The networking is fantastic. The philanthropy is top notch, and it's just a great organization. So I think we're going to wrap up now, but I want to encourage everyone that has an interest in Rotary. How do they find out about Rotary and specifically the San Juan Rotary Club?
Well, they can call me if they want.
Okay.
I'm Delia Colorado. My number is 787-649-9425.
Okay.
So they can call me and ask about Rotary. You can be invited to one of our lunches on Tuesday. If the person comes to the app and say, I would like to be a guest, that would be so very nice.
That's great.
Well,
It's
I think it would be
absolutely.
absolutely interesting.
Yeah, so you can come, you can check it out. It's a wonderful
Yeah, they
organization.
can call me.
And I want to thank you for being with us today.
Well, I want to thank you for inviting me.
It was my
It's been a pleasure. I
pleasure.
love your jacket.
Thank you very much. I like yours too. So I want to thank all of you for joining us today as well. We had Delia Colorado, president of the Rotary Club here in San Juan. And if you want to get more information, you can reach out to her. You can also go to the website. And if you're enjoying the broadcast, make sure to give us a 5-star review and subscribe. And until next time, this is Daven Michaels. Live your true life adventure. We'll see you soon.